Hey, what's up, friends? It is your friendly neighborhood BJJ podcaster, Rafa Sparza, coming to you live right now. It is 12:27 Best Coast time. My apologies, we were not on a little bit. We had to get through some technical difficulties, but we've got a hell of a show for you guys. Plus, more importantly, a very, very solid guest. Before we get to him, a nice time to remind you guys, if you gained a little weight, and who hasn't right now? I know I have. If you want to put maybe some money away into buying some new gear, because you got a little COVID weight, then why don't you go over to our good friends over at Nogi BJJ Gear, use the promotional code GrapplingHour15, take 15% off of whatever you put in the carts. All right, let's talk about our guests right now. Well, I mean, obviously I've seen him compete at Submission Underground, and that's fun. It is rare that after a fight you become a meme. And becoming a meme is a specialized practice at this point. For example, I don't think he did anything wrong to make himself a meme. In fact, if anything, Beltran kind of saw that meme through for the rest of us who do memes, so I didn't have to do shit. But I guess when you're in a fight with AJ Agazarm, the odds are very likely that you will be memed. However, that's not to take away from his record. Like I said, you've seen him over at Submission Underground. You saw him at Bellator. It looks like he's got a very, very promising career. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show for the very first time, one, Cris Sunshine Lencioni. How you doing, sir?
I'm great, man. I kind of always want to do this every interview I do, where the Will Ferrell and he's like, I don't know what to do with my hands, or he just kind of get.
You're also vertical like this, so you have your own little box. So you're just kind of like, if I gesture out here, no one can see this.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Cris, let's get straight to it. What did it feel like when Beltran grabs your hand like a dad and directs you back over to AJ when he is basically run out after the decision was made?
Man, I gotta be honest with you, like 100% honest. That whole fight, I was in another dimension. I have this like sweet little mark on my head from a headbutt, and I was just loving it. Like I was in I'm kind of crazy, right? To fight for a living, sure, you have to be a little unhinged, right? Like legitimately unhinged, not like fake AJ unhinged. So when I got headbutted in the mouth, after all that, I was pretty much just like, you're going to die. And I don't know how I'm going to do it, but you're going to die. And then like the whole grabbing me and shit, I was just like, dude, like totally in the moment. Could not remember it. I'm like, where am I going? Am I going? Here I am. I'm going this way. I'm going that way. Here's AJ. Oh, you don't want to shake my hand? Like, fuck you. It was great. I'm sitting here. It turns out I have like a TBI. I have some issues. So I've been doing a bunch of interviews and I was like, man, why do I feel so off? Well, that makes sense. It's because I got some issues in my head. But damn, that moment was fun and it went by too fast. Yeah. I
mean, it is funny to us because I was watching, I think I saw our good friend over from Asgard 503. I thought I saw Mike put it up and I was running an errand and I didn't get to see the full fight. So I was like, fuck, you know what? I'm going to have to go back and see it. And I happened to tune in right as you were doing your post interview and I go, well, I'm at least here for the second fight, so that's good.
Yeah, I love Mike, man. Asgard, dude, they're so cool. It's
very nice people.
Those like that's a buddy of mine. I met him. His wife did a photo shoot for me like years ago. She's like, hey, my husband's got this really cool company. And I saw it and I'm like, oh, that's cool. I'm not like a Viking. Like, obviously I look like this. But damn, it's comfy clothes, comfy gear. And he just kept getting better and better with, I just am such a fan of like underdogs. And I felt like he definitely gets this like underdog. But we have the same kind of underdog vibe. We're always grinding. We're not really like bragging about it too much. Like even with this AJ fight, I was pumping it up, talking trash. I was just AJing AJ, right? And he didn't want to do that this time. And so that was the only, I got a little loud for this fight, but everyone underestimated me. I was like a betting underdog too. A bunch of my buddies were like, damn, I made good money on you. And I'm like, I looked at my corner man who won like $2,000 at the casino one night on like $50. Oh, bro. He goes, oh, I put $50 down on this little bet the dealer side bet and I just made like $2,000. And I'm like, let's fucking bet it. Let's bet it, son. I'm gonna be it. He didn't do it. Lost my mind, man. We could have made some more money. I think that's unethical. But don't quote me on that. I didn't.
Yeah, no. I unfortunately this goes out live, so there's not like any editing I can do. But I can tell you this:
I don't care.
as a compulsive gambler, I understand what it is like to look at betting odds all the time. However, I don't fight. Nobody ever makes odds on me. Do you actually look at the odds, and does that ever like make you laugh when you get to see them though?
I have recently now been looking at the odds. Like Submission Underground did odds on me, and my last 2 fights had odds, and I was always an underdog, and now I'm like 8-0 in the last year and a half, and I'm like, damn, they just keep putting me as an underdog. I don't even know where the like underdog comes from. Like I don't fucking suck. I was 8-0 as an amateur. I went on a 4-0 run. I didn't have fun for 2 fights and lost those at the same time. You know, there's not a coincidence there mentally. My mental health was atrocious at that time. It was really, really bad. And then that was 2018. And then I come back and I go on another tear, 3-fight win streak, five grappling wins. So 8-0. And I'm still underdog out here, man. It's crazy.
Let me see if I can give you a little bit of a encouraging sign. I see those odds, and again, compulsive gambler here. I look at those odds and I go, who the hell is making some of these? Because when I even tell people, I go, listen, like when I saw Orchard, when they were putting him as a betting line against Roberto, I said, man, that kid's fire right now. But like, how would you ever not put a better betting line on somebody who has Orchard's history? Like, I get it. Maybe he's not your favorite, but Jesus Christ, that's not even a right betting line. Have you looked at him? And
Orchard, by the way, I did. I threw 100 down. I was like, let's go, Nate. And then I was like,
well, I mean, here's the good news. You could yell at Roberto later about that. I yell at him constantly.
I know.
I'm just curious that you go from this kind of watching the betting lines to also knowing a part of the game, which is the trash talk. And I think that you're more entertaining than you are necessarily a mean-spirited trash talker. But as you were mentioning and alluding to earlier, because it's AJ, you had to take maybe a different approach. So how did this fight come together, and when did you decide you were going to start doing, I guess, what needed to be done, at least on the verbal side?
I did what needed to be done for the entire MMA and grappling community. I think everyone can agree that this was like the most poetic justice on planet Earth. At least, like, this is the biggest win of 2020 for all of us right now. Can we just agree on that? Like, look at 2020. Look at everyone that's been winning and losing in the grappling events. You know, it's like, yeah, Nate Orchard. Like, we like Nate Orchard. And then that Roberto kid, he's good too. And then he won that weird match in the Substar or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, there's all these, like, weird upsets and wins and losses. But we can all agree AJ needed to get his ass kicked. And his reaction made it even better. And his post-fight reaction and his what is it? What did he say? His judging bias, his post today. I mean, just like he is just like digging this freaking grave deeper and deeper. And yeah, I'm an asshole. I'm not evil. I'm not mean, but I'm an asshole, and I will talk that. We are fighting each other, man. I'm gonna smack you around. That didn't hurt, you know, this and that. There should be no problem there. But the problem I have is the illegal strikes. Certain strikes are illegal for a reason. You can fucking kill someone. We're not trying to kill each other here, man. Headbutts, I'm not defending for that. It comes out of nowhere. I'm on Mars now. When he was elbowing me 12-6 on the back of my head, definitely can kill someone, paralyze them. I've been to fucking 3 doctors in the last 3 days trying to get this shit figured out. You know, he didn't even hit me. If you watch the fight, he didn't jab me or like no punches. The kicks were checked. I checked all his kicks, but the 2 things he did to me, illegal headbutt and illegal elbows to the back of the head, the spine, have fucked me up, man. What an asshole.
Well, here's the good news. You won the fight. Did it go? I mean, obviously the illegal strikes aren't necessarily something you're always going to take into consideration as part of his game plan. But what went according to plan? Because I know that once you got headbutted, things seemed to change a little bit on course for you.
To be honest with you, the plan was always to humiliate him. I know that sounds weird, but this is like a fight where I wanted to show. told my corners, and I mean, you can ask them, man. I mean, I'm not bullshitting you here. I told them, like, this is how it's going to go down. He's going to do his little footsie shit. He's going to try to knee bar me, heel hook me right off the bat. He's going to be on his butt, sitting there. I'm going to fucking axe kick him. He'll probably take my back at one point in a weird scramble. I'll get out of it. I'll reverse it. I'll steal the round from him, and I'll fuck him up while I'm doing it. And I even told them that I'm going to throw a kick, and it's going to land, but he'll probably catch it. And I'll go into a triangle. I will use an omoplata sweep out of that triangle and walk away. And everything happened the way I said, except I did not expect all the illegal stuff. I could have finished him in the very beginning of the fight, just for the record. I hit him with a lead hook with my left hand, right? So, bam, uppercut. And my hand is swollen, by the way, from it had minor breaks from how much I hit him. This is the first day I can see my knuckles. That's pretty damn cool, to be honest with you. And he was out. Like, I watched him go out in his eyes for a minute, and I got so excited, and I was like, no. That's not the goal. The goal is humiliation. And he managed to drag it out, tying me up. But in the end, I did everything I wanted to do for being a shitty brown belt.
Yeah, that was something that I think you harped on a little bit, but I laughed. I mean, here's the nice part is you understand kind of what needs to be said that gets under his skin, and clearly it did. Yeah. And he is not a solid loser, but this is almost 2 L's. At least one is unofficial that we don't know about. Did you at any point go up to Chael and say, listen, can you make that footage just exist? Because all of us, when we saw and heard about that there was some sort of training or some sort of footage that we haven't seen, and that it was being brought in as the promotional talk about this fight promo sort of deal.
Yeah.
Have you had any words with Chael about that?
It's a tough thing to navigate, man, when you're dealing with AJ, dude. He's got some daddy money or something, so there's a lot of legal grounds. You can ask, Wagner about that, man. He tried to sue him. That's why we make the comics, because that's about as much as we can do there. Can't get into it, Exhibition matches are really fun, though. You can do a lot of fun stuff. Look at how crazy people are going for Tyson and his little, pillow fight that he's going to have. I'll tell you what, man, I've been told this before, and it's cool. I'll bring it up because of what you said about me getting under AJ's skin. I can get under anybody's skin if they make me, Otherwise, we're going to have fun. But if you put me to that point, man, where I'm ready, I'm going to big brother you. I may be 26, dude. He's 34 years old. He's been a black belt for longer than I've even known about MMA, and I big brothered the shit out of that guy. I mean, I did 2 triple elbow combos to that guy, spamming the X button on UFC, bam, 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 and then I was like, back off. I didn't even throw my left hand at all because it was so much fun to just kind of bat him around like a cat playing with a mouse. And I don't get enough credit for my jiu-jitsu. And the reality is, and this is going to hurt some people's feelings, but sports jiu-jitsu, I don't give a shit about your sports jiu-jitsu. I did jiu-jitsu because I got my ass beat growing up because I was a Taekwondo black belt, and I got my ass beat by people who just had a little bit of wrestling, and some of them may have done some jiu-jitsu. And now that I look back on that, I'm like, for sure they were at least white belts, 2 stripes, and they destroyed my black belt in Taekwondo. And if they grabbed me, right? I've sidekicked a couple motherfuckers growing up in Fresno, so that's a different story. If your jiu-jitsu doesn't work in a fight, that's, I'm a self-defense guy, man. If you can get hit and punch doing it, so I respect it, man. Sports jiu-jitsu is a sport. I'm cool with that. But I don't like that game, man. I don't like to play that game. That's why Suggs sometimes kind of pisses me off. My last match against Austin was really fun because I know I'm talking a lot, sorry, but I went against Austin Daffy or whatever when I was a blue belt, and he was a purple. We were in a open weight tournament. We were in the finals. And he sat there for 6 minutes trying to heel hook me. And this is when I just learned defense to it. And he didn't get me once. We went into overtime. I learned about the body triangle. I actually learned it from that guy. He scraped my fucking face for a rear naked. He went, hurrah, and I went, bitch, choked. And so that match was really fun. But then at the end of it, I'm like, damn, this is so stupid. Because if you try to do that in a real fight, you're getting your ass beat. AJ tried to do it. I stepped over, I sunk down, I compressed his ribs, and I felt him go, ooh, and then I pop, 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 and then I was out. So there's your heel hook, But Gary Tonin would probably argue with me and would probably say he's going to kill me now, but we can test it out. I like Gary. We can fight. I don't care. I'll prove it.
I mean, Gary's pretty dumb, so I don't think we'll be hearing from him. And if he does get on the bat line, I'm pretty sure it's pretty easy to walk him down. If you could talk shit to AJ, you could talk shit to Gary.
Oh, Gary doesn't want this, man. I like Gary, you know. I don't know him very well, but I know we're both the same weight. He doesn't want this. I'll go over to one and do that, you know, but I don't think one likes me and my style. I'm a free agent right now. Not that it matters, but whatever. Who cares? I'll go wherever. I'll beat anyone. I want Chase Hooper, too. Gary Tonin, Chase Hooper, James Gallagher. Those are the three guys I want. One guy from the UFC, one from ONE FC, and one from Bellator. So...
It's nice of you to do the work for the matchmakers and be like, listen, you guys have so much on your plate. I figured it out. I made a contract too.
Yes.
Just signed it right now. I'm all good to go.
I've got it right here. Would you like to see it? It's right here.
I mean, to be perfectly blunt with you, like, I know AJ, I know Gary. I laugh at both of their antics for different reasons sometimes.
Right.
And sometimes for the same reason, because, you know, they're prone to doing some dumb shit. And the nice part about doing the interviews is usually I just get on this and I just interview them and I go, all right, let's talk about this. And Gary's always given me his time and been very gracious. And, you know, AJ, when he runs into me, is always nice to me. And I'm like, that's nice. And then I see him go out and do dumb shit and I go, well, now you know I have to make fun of you. There's not really anything any of us are supposed to do other than say, that's hilarious. So I do want to ask you, there's two things. I'll get back to AJ in a second with the post stuff, but I want to stay in the actual realm of the cage. When they do the interviews with you, are you at all used to them getting like a broom and bringing it over to you with a microphone? Because that split second you looked at it, you were like, oh God, please get away.
Get this big black thing out of my face. It's like, what is this? Like, I mean, that's a little suspect right there, but, you don't just shove something big in somebody's face like that without a heads up. Like, hey, heads up, here comes the big boom mic. I just turned around and I was like, oh God, get it out. You know, I feel like it was on an episode of South Park or something. It was surprising. I was a little caught off guard.
So let's kind of, I guess, encapsulate the end little product here for the discussion of the post-fight annex. Because at first we heard he was going to protest the decision. And then maybe a miraculous 36 hours later, he has put up a post and said, yes, it is true. He did lose that fight. Sorry, he's hyper competitive. What is your response to that wacky and wild 36 hours of post-fight to post-reflection?
Dude, this is going to sound a little bad. Not for me. It's going to sound bad for him. He's like someone trying to fucking rape somebody getting caught. Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to do that because I got caught doing it. You know, you asshole. The only reason you're apologizing is because you're getting destroyed on the internet. That's why you turned off your comments like a bitch. You know, I didn't turn off my comments. Even when I won that fight again with my broken leg, I had hundreds of hate mail. My wife deleted social media. She doesn't do this shit. She's wholesome. My wife is a gem, man. She is my, you know, she's a wholesome Oregonian, you know, lady, and she doesn't do this shit. She doesn't deal with Russians fucking sending them like, die, motherfucker. You know, you piece of shit. You married a pussy. So she got rid of her social media because of that. I never turned off my comments. And here he is, 36 hours. He's turning off his comments. He's giving his half-ass apology. He spells my name wrong. Disrespectful. And then the next morning, like this morning, he posted a picture saying, lucky elbow. So then I proceeded to just share. For the record, the photographer even told me, he's like, you were moving so fast and doing so much shit, I couldn't get a lot of photos of you. I mean, I just posted the few that I have, which clearly showed more than one elbow. I mean, we can talk about the 6 elbows I landed in less than actually, it was almost 10 elbows I landed in less than a minute in the third round, where I did a triple elbow combo, and then 2 tomahawk elbows, and then another triple elbow combo. We can talk about the 3-2 that knocked him down. So, dude, I can't stand it. That's why I don't.
Well, you should also be pretty happy about that super smiley axe kick that you've got photo, because if I had that kind of a photo, man, I would pretty much put it on a frame and have it on this show at all times.
I'm trying to do that. I got to get on that stuff. I just have so much stuff I got to do. I put behind on my academy, like, because we were remodeling it and doing a whole bunch of stuff there. And I was broke as a joke, you know, because everyone's broke as a joke right now. And I don't get no $600. I didn't get any PPP loans. Wells Fargo's a bitch. they took all my money. But here's the thing about the axe kick. I ate a lot of sushi the night before, and my nutritionist was a little pissed off because we thought it would be fine, and I didn't tell him. I had like a complete shutdown of my body. So I ate sushi, and halfway through the meal, I looked at my corners and I said, "We need to get the fuck out of here." And they're like, "What?" And I'm like, "Okay." And then I went to the room and I slept until I slept like 20 hours until the fight. And then I woke up and I was like, let's go fight. All right. And then I went out there and I was like bloated as shit. And I still at like 60-70% beat a world champion black belt. I did this axe kick. My tummy's got rolls. I got self-esteem issues. I used to be 220, dude. Obviously, you're going to look at me and go, "You're an asshole." But, body issues is real, homie. So the axe kick was cool, but I got all these rolls and shit, man. I don't look like a Greek god, dude. I'm trying to look outstanding.
Let me put it to you this way, young man, as somebody who is both old and has lost their metabolism at this point and now is facing corona, I would tell you all this. No one cares what anybody looks like right now. Like, don't just you guys care for the photo. Anybody who's dealing with this, I can barely train versus I'm making the most out of my goddamn Zoom classes. We don't care what you look like. So take the thing. If you need it touched up on Photoshop, call Mike's wife. Just be like, "Hey, listen, can you touch this up and put on some regular Stallone abs?" I'm talking about Rambo 2 Stallone. No, I think that you, with those axe kick, the one thing that really made me laugh is I was like, well, this is entertaining for one reason. But then the other reason is you smile throughout the whole process. What is it that prompts you to smile? And even the guys who were commentating, I believe it was Jay, who was talking a lot about how much of a smile presence you are both in the cage and in the gym.
I might get some flack for this, dude, but I'm pretty damn religious, and I have a lot of faith, and life is fucking beautiful, like all the good and the bad, and it's been a fucking wild year, and I just like to enjoy these moments where I know that it's like, you just can feel it. It's like, this is your moment, good or bad. I got elbowed. Headbutted. He headbutted me, and I was like, "This motherfucker!" Like, it's all about the way you act, right? Attitude is everything. I train a lot of young studs, in my program, and I tell these kids all the time, attitude is everything. And I always use myself as an example, and I show them fights where I've had good attitude, bad attitude, and a little bit of in between. And obviously in the bad attitude fights, I lost, and that was such an eye opener. And dude, again, I'm kind of fucked up in the head. I love fighting, man. I love to get hit. I like to give it back. So I'm smiling because I'm like, violence. This political bullshit going on right now, I don't like to get into it. It makes me sick. And so the fact that I get that energy out instead of just attacking somebody on the street because they're like, "Pull up your mask." I'm like, "You're going down, old lady." This fucking 60-year-old lady was like this, telling me to pull my mask up in the supermarket, and I was like, "I'm about to suplex your ass right now."
I mean, you get solid. If you're gonna get put on World Star, at least make the suplex solid, because again, the last thing I need to do is refer to a male Karen when I'm memeing any of this shit afterwards and being like, "Is that Chris?" Yeah, well, all right.
Weak, man. Look at his hips. His hips were way too low when he was throwing that old lady. She's got to be 90 pounds. Why didn't he do it right? Yeah, I know.
You call that airtime? Jesus, kid. I don't know what they're teaching you down in Long Beach, but I don't think they're going to take any claim to any part of that. Well, Rich, you were able to go down there. So let me get this straight. I mean, obviously, COVID's made everything super wacky, but you were in the middle of a remodel while at the same time doing a camp over in Long Beach. So what prompted you to go over to Long Beach specifically to get that training there? Because I've been there to train, and it is quite good.
In Oregon, we have a lot of really good local gyms. They're awesome. I have a lot of fun training with these guys, but I needed to get my ass really beat. Like, that's it. I needed to get my ass handed to me. And I'm not saying that wasn't happening in Oregon, but it wasn't happening as much, right? And that's okay. We all got to grow. So I went out there, and I just got pounded. I got pounded by Cub Swanson did this sick combo to me that made me poop myself. Like right now I feel it, and I'm like, like Derek Lewis. And fuck, man, he just, like, that kind of shit, I would pay so much money to get that. And Juan Archuleta was another really good training partner of mine. And fuck, that guy's a world champion. I'm training with world champions, man. I mean, you can't argue that Cub isn't like world champion material. You know, just he has his moments where people have caught him in some shit, but look at his performances, man, and look at how long he's been around. And Juan, look at his thing. He's like 25-2. Like, Jesus Christ, man. 55, 70, 35, 40. He's like all over the place, too. Like, what kind of dude can just say, I'll beat your ass at any weight class? That's a champ.
I mean, I'll put it to you this way. I've gotten to train and roll with people who fight for a living, some of which you probably also have. Well, actually, I can tell you for sure, some of which you have fought and competed against. Mm-hmm. And I know for sure that there are just different levels to how they roll and how they're competing and how they do things. So whenever I'm rolling with them, I just take it as is. I'm like, dude, if I submit you here, it means absolutely nothing to me because you fight for a living. And it's not like you're going with that same intensity. And if you are, I have to do something entirely different because I can't hang with you like that. So when you're talking about going to get these murder sessions, you're talking about getting a level that most people who are hobbyists or even semi-pro will never ever.
No, it's that good shit. It's that 1%, and I'm all about it. Like I called my wife maybe after every training session, I was like, I'm getting my fucking ass beat. I don't even want to do this anymore. And she was like, that's good. That's what you want. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. Like one workout, I went to my car and I was putting my key in the door and I dropped it and I looked down at it and I just saw the whole world like go away from me. And I went down and I like sat there on the ground and I was like this for like 20 minutes. I was like, fuck, you ever have a workout do that to you, man? You know?
Oh.
You're not even in the car yet, driving home thinking about it. You're not even in the car. You're outside the car.
I tell people that every once in a while I'll have a training session, especially with guys who are fighting, because what I do is I'm like, listen, I'm not competing. I'm not doing any of that bullshit, but I will give you guys whatever rounds you want. If you need to be the technical guy, no problem. If you need me to be the real hyper aggressive guy, I'll do as best I can. But when those session ends, I get what I call the Tom Hanks end of Saving Private Ryan hands, where like when I'm trying to like even put in my keys in there and just like shaking, and I'm like, oh God, where did this come from? And it's just like, dude, your body is just taking so many shocks to the system, it's trying to come back down. So for me, when I do that, I go, oh, right, that was a good session. If I feel like I'm got almost part Parkinson's at this point.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, let's talk about this. I want to ask, obviously going over to Long Beach was great. So now you're able to get back home. Although I didn't ask this because you did mention sushi. What kind of sushi are we talking here? Because there's good sushi that probably won't affect you too much. But if I hear a certain set of rolls, I can pretty much diagnose what the hell happened to you.
Well, I picked rolls without any dairy. The problem is when I do my nutrition, I'm a very big 145. Like I was bigger than Brian Ortega. We had a fun little like measurement thing. He was longer than me, but I was like,
not necessary. Don't need to know that, but go ahead.
No. Reach, homie G, reach. Like we put our fists up. It was cool. I was like, damn, this guy does have fucking hell of an arm, dude. He's like crazy long arms. But I don't have a lot of, you're not supposed to take in a lot of fat after you do such a massive weight cut, right? And sushi does have a lot of fat. I thought I was going for the rolls. Sushi rice has a lot of sugar, and it was just so much for my body to process at one time. It shut it down, and that was my mistake. Normally, I just have like a big old plate of like pasta or rice or sweet potatoes, but it was a trip, man, because of the COVID. We couldn't do a lot of shit. So it was just I just grabbed that. I don't know why I did it. I can't explain it. Damn, I wanted sushi, man. All the rolls. Sushi donut, sushi pizza. I didn't even have tempura. I didn't have any of the fried shit, man. So
I got to tell you, man, this is, if I was fighting, I would probably be like you. So I'm glad this is a good cautionary tale to others who might be like us, because, man, I got to tell you, man, I finished like a writing submission for a thing that I had to do. And my body was just like so tired. I go, because of fucking COVID, I haven't had sushi in 6 months. And I literally like phoned him. I'm like, just bring it to me. And when I bring it to me, this guy's like, oh, is this for like you and your wife? And I was like, yeah, both of us.
Yeah.
Right. How many settings did you put in here? How fat do you think I am, dude? Like, chill, bro. Yes.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about origin story. Where does, like you mentioned, you were a Taekwondo black belt. Is that where martial arts started for you? Did you do wrestling as well? Like, where does your journey begin?
we did wrestling when I couldn't afford it anymore. I did it in like high school. I was getting suspended a lot, and they're like, "You're gonna do wrestling or a sport or something, or we're gonna kick you the fuck out." I was like, "Okay." And then the wrestling coach took me in. Turned out he was a fighter. His name was Casey Olson. He trained with Chuck Liddell, Josh Koscheck. Those guys were his protege. So that's how I kind of got into fighting, and I like saw it. He had like a really hard couple of fights. He won a few, had a bad knockout, and stopped fighting. But he just had left such an amazing impression on me. And then I tried to wrestle in college. That sucked. I gained a bunch of weight. They wanted me to bulk up, but they didn't help me do it. They just kind of set me up for failure. So I got really fat, started fucking up in school, almost dropped out, came back, started doing judo in college. And judo was badass. I'm a green belt. No big deal. Fuck with me. I'll throw you around. And then my buddy's like, "You want to fight, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "You got to go to this. You're moving to Portland anyways to do," because I was getting straight A's at that point in college. I went to Portland State. They said, "Go to this gym. This guy's a badass." And he was a badass black belt. I was learning from him. And then our gym just started getting really, really big, and whole vibe changed. I stopped getting coached. People wanted me to fucking lose. Like I had teammates like talking about shit about me on Reddit, like telling people my training schedule, my fight style, and like my weaknesses. I was like, what the fuck? Fuck this place. So that's why I left. Well, there's a lot of reasons. And so that was that whole journey. Taekwondo to wrestling to judo to Muay Thai and jiu-jitsu. I had a really cool boxing coach at one point, but he was kind of a dickhead too. He kind of just sold me out for some peanuts. He bet on the wrong horse, Everybody's always betting against me, dude. Go fuck yourselves. Yeah, fuck them. Whatever.
When did you know that you loved jiu-jitsu, though?
Fuck, dude. The first day, a little Asian dude just pieced me up, man. Just fucking wrapped me up like a gordita. And I was like, this is the shit. I was like, I couldn't throw him. I couldn't do anything. I had old men, old motherfuckers. Like, they were talking about how much Viagra they had to take just to fuck me. That's the stuff they would say. They're like, "Oh, I just took 5 pills just to be able to fuck you up." And I'm like, why can't I stop them? Somebody help me. I'm like freaking out. It was awful. It was so humbling in so many ways. And I loved it. And I still love it to this day as much as that first day.
As a comic, it is hard to hear grown men talking about how much Viagra they got to take to fuck you. On the range of trash talk, I don't know if I put that anywhere close to the upper echelon.
They're vets, man. These vets, they're filthy men.
Fair enough. Jesus Christ.
Oh,
yeah, but I can tell you this. I mean, I have a lot of friends who are out in Portland, and obviously that's given you a number of opportunities being in that region where there's been Submission Underground, and you've done those shows, and I thought that's been great. I mean, you've definitely made a name for yourself there. And then when I saw you were fighting as well, I said, oh, okay. And for me, it's always nice when we kind of see jiu-jitsu guys go back and forth. But one thing that's really nice, and both talking to you and researching you, has been just your well-roundedness and how much you've put into each journey. I didn't know about judo as well, so that's pretty badass, man. You've kind of touched almost a little bit of all the arts.
I'm a judoka. Yeah, man. I love it. I love how much you have to work to hit one throw. I've done a Sotogari 1,000 times, man. Just a boom, and the fucking motion and the footwork. It's beautiful. I love it. And I take it so serious, man. And that's why I went, through the ranks. I'm not fucking belt hunting out here. I just like to beat someone's ass. I mean, that's the goal, right? We're out here trying to beat each other's asses. Like, and there's slick ways to do it, and there's mean ways to do it, And cool, if you think I'm a black belt, awesome. If you think I'm a brown belt, cool. You want to make me a white belt again? I don't give a shit. But I like coaching, and I like building students as well, and I love spreading this art. Because, it's like such a niche sport. Like, let's be real, dude. We're like here, man. We got to get here. We're trying to get here. And who knows, by 2025, 2030, maybe we will be. I want to be in my 30s and go, fuck, man, I was a part of that. We fucking built this shit up. It's in the Olympics now, It's in freaking high schools. It's in junior highs. That's what I'm looking for, man. I've seen it change kids' lives. I have so many kids at my academy that have had some crazy shit happen to them like me, and I can already see them just changing from it. 1 year, 6 months. It's a huge deal. I'm all about it. I'm in it for life. So
they always say that you always find a version of yourself that's as big of a troublemaker or as big of a kind of like no good kid when you grew up like that. Have you found that as an experience as a coach?
Yeah, he instantly, the kid came to mind right when you said that. He has like a surgery this Thursday. I've been thinking about him a lot since I got back. I got to see him yesterday. He's a lot like me, man. He's short. He's 6 years old, and he's a stud, man. And I got him when he was 5, and he was fucking insane. And I already saw all the things. Like, I remember when I was little, my dad died when I was 4. I remember, it was meth, obviously. My mom was a fucking, God, what's the right way to say crack prostitute? Like, how do you say that in a right way? Like, crazy, bro. That was my upbringing, dude. It was fucked up. Like, people don't get that. They see me and they're like, nice looking white privileged kid there, man. You got money, huh? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Okay. Just because I clean up well. And this kid, he's had a crazy life already, man, at 6. And I'm like, this is fucking insane, man. So, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Well, I mean, it's also how I tell these guys who think they're at the top of the world within sports, whenever they're like, no one's coming to get me. And I was like, bro, there's always the next version of you slowly waiting to find you. It's just enjoy what you're doing right now. Yep. But don't be surprised when you find that thing. And I find that so many of these teachers and folks who do martial arts kind of work, it's not surprising when you find these kids who find this as their outlet. So I think it's so good when you have somebody who can guide them in that direction. It's like, whoa, I know exactly what you're doing. Shut up, kid. Shut up right now.
Shut your fucking mouth. Shut your fucking mouth and shrimp your ass up and down. I have a couple kids. I mean, that kid is one of them, but man, there's quite a few. And it's just like, again, I believe in God. Fuck you guys if you don't. I don't care. That's my thing. There's reasons. There's unexplainable reasons in this world. You can fucking have your 50 other beliefs. People are brought into your life for reasons, and you can't explain that kind of stuff, man. So, why do we all have Matrix moments? We can't. Oh, it's our brain. We're just meat sacks and a skeleton on a freaking meteor flying through the earth or flying through space. It's like, oh, whatever, dude. What a cop out for your shitty behavior. Like, own up to it.
So here's another question. Where does the nickname Sunshine come from? Because, again, that could be interpreted as the way you're smiling there. But from what I have researched about you, it seems like it has maybe a movie tie-in.
The Remember the Titans, for sure. I've done some moments. I've grabbed some dudes and I've made them think I'm about to freaking kiss them, because they're pissing me off. And I'm like, what's the best way to mess with another guy? Is to grab them, except AJ liked it, so I didn't, I just had, there's some pause, there's some suspects moments. I like to mess with people. We're all having fun. I'm very comfortable with who I am. I've got a beautiful wife. We're on our way to making some beautiful babies. I don't give a shit what you people think. How many freaking, gay dudes slide into my DMs every day? It's insane. And, it's pretty wild. So obviously I clearly give off a certain image, but I'm not like that. I'm sorry. I don't swing that way. But that's the sunshine kind of comes from that. I stripped one time. That was fun. I made good money that night. One song, and it was like $1,000 I raked in, dude. I killed it, man.
What's the song, though?
I honestly, for the love of all that is good in this world, I can't remember. Do you remember? You weren't there. My wife's over here laughing at me. It was amateur night. They brought me out. My coaches at the time, they're sick motherfuckers. They dragged me and threw my ass on stage in my underwear. And I was like, I needed the money. I'm an amateur fighter. And then one dude kissed me on the cheek. And it was pretty downhill from there. I was like, you didn't earn that kiss. Don't touch me. So now I get it. I get why the strippers are so crazy, man. Yeah.
Understandable. I'm just saying.
Kids that are watching this is a little personal. I didn't realize it, but they're not letting them watch it. Let's be real.
Let's be honest. If they've watched any of my interviews, it's their problem, not mine. And more importantly, I have a nephew who my sister goes, hey, send me an interview they can watch. And I was like, nope.
Cut it.
You have asked that question. It's not happening. Literally from get-go, if I am swearing like a sailor, I don't want them watching. Unless you want them to watch. And I don't have a problem if they start cursing when they're a kid. That's your kid, though. I'm not telling you how to police your kid. But what I would say is, from a financial standpoint, it seems that it would not be smart to at least know what your song is as a stripper, because then you're just losing money. At the very least, those strippers that do that, entrepreneurship, it just shows you the extra step that they go that I think you need to really learn if you would ever to do that. Because guess what, man? COVID ain't over. And all we know now is if you can go from teaching a Zoom class over BJJ, who knows? Maybe you make some money to put aside on the side.
No, it's funny. I think I do remember the song. I didn't want to say it, but I'm thinking about it now. And I want to say it was Sexy. Do You Think I'm Sexy by Rod Stewart. I'm just almost positive because I remember that song for some reason popping through my head. And I'm like, why did that pop up? But I think it's just, and I've grooved to it a lot. I really have to pee right now too. So I'm just like fucking antsy. I had a bang energy, but
Jesus Christ, kid.
Yeah.
Well, we're learning so much about you. And one is don't feed you sushi, don't give you bang interview before an interview. Like you're literally becoming a gremlin with your rules thus far in.
Yeah.
But let's talk about your gym, man. So where is it? What can people expect if they are going to train with you?
There's no bullshit. We're very family oriented. We have a lot of fun. Don't try to come in there to fuck people up because there's going to be someone that will fuck you up worse. You know how it is. Kid friendly. We don't really swear. We listen to good gangster music though. All of it bleeped out. It's fun. We got a ton of badass murals. It's in Canby, Oregon. It's called Sunshine Athletics. I might change it one day to like Sunshine Jiu-Jitsu or Sunshine MMA. Maybe when I'm cool enough to get a black belt. I don't fucking know. I don't give a shit. I like the name right now. That's about it. It's awesome. It's a fun spot. Damn, I gotta pee. Shit. Sorry.
It's all right. We'll land this bird so that you can start to get to the leaking part. But I do want to ask, who do you want next, man? Like, who are you looking at, both jiu-jitsu and MMA wise?
Jiu-jitsu wise, nobody. I don't give a shit about that right now. I want to fight another guy. I'll do jiu-jitsu later. We got fights going on right now. I want to fight. Chase Hooper, UFC, Gary Tonin, 1FC, James Gallagher, Bellator. Those are the three. Don't forget it.
All right. Well, I realize we are losing you by the second, but I want to go ahead and let people know, where can they find you? Where can they see you if they are looking to both come train with you and find you on the interwebs?
Cris Sunshine MMA on pretty much everything. Sunshine Athletics on my gym stuff. I got a blue check mark now. I'm this shit.
Congrats.
So cool. I'm fucking verified, dog. That's it. Email me, chrissunshinemma@gmail.com. Sponsors. I need sponsors. I don't have any, and I need them.
Okay.
I have a few, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Let me do this. This is one of our favorite segments to do, which is, here's why you should sponsor this guy. So I'll go ahead and let me just see if I can put a couple things in here real quick. All right. Hi, friends. Have you met Cris? Cris needs sponsors, and I don't understand why. You know why? This man has already been memed to death this one weekend. That's only one weekend. Do you know how much SEO one weekend's worth of memes will get you? If you don't know what SEO is, don't even listen anymore because you're too stupid to know the value. Here's why you need Cris. Not only is on Submission Underground, fighting underneath the underground of Submission Underground and beating the shit out of people there, but now he's fighting for Bellator and he's a free agent. And you know what that means? A new opportunity to get your brand seen. And I'm telling you, if this dude is going to light up all of his divisions and get you good content, sponsor this man, give him some money, and just don't play certain Rod Stewart songs around him and you won't regret it.
Yeah, my SEO, by the way, my impressions was 850,000 and counting right now.
Oh shit, my man! Numbers. Look at you.
Yeah,
dude. Yeah. You are speaking to the inner nerd part of me. Well, listen, dude. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna let you get off this little interview in a second, but I'm gonna close this bitch out. I will talk to you off air if you don't mind. But if you need to go take care of something real quick, that's perfectly fine too. So, all right. Let me go ahead and close this on up. I want to thank all of you guys for tuning in. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back with some folks who have an amazing new website. This website is called Down to Roll. The whole purpose of it is that if you are lacking training partners right now, we can hook you up with the right training partners in the right areas if you want to keep small groups going on. I'm so excited to talk with these gentlemen. And more importantly, I don't want you to go anywhere because as soon as I finish up here, which will probably be in the next 5 minutes, you're going to see a new stream come up and we will be talking with the good folks over at Down to Roll. And I want to remind you guys again, we will be back just in about 5 minutes. And later on today, we're going to be doing a Let's Watch with Dana White's Contender Series to see our buddy Brady Wang fighting his way into the UFC. Do not go anywhere. We have a jam-packed day of stuff to watch. My name is Rafa Esparza. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you back in just a few minutes.